BEIN TV, connected to your world.
Good evening, this is BEIN News Updates. We bring you all the news stories making headlines during the week, broadcasting from Benab House, Atomic Junction, Medina. My name is Khadija Tukubra Keilani. We are streaming live also on Facebook and YouTube at BEIN TV. Now here are the top stories of the week. Ashanti Regional Minister justifies kicking out school feeding caterers and lies about economy won't win you 2024 polls NPP to NDC. Akufo-Addo swears in 5 new ministers and a deputy. And on the international front, Egypt's new lavish mosques angers Egyptians facing poverty. We bring you details of the stories in a moment. Thank you for staying with us. Now the stories in details. President Akufo-Addo on Tuesday swore into office 4 ministers and a deputy minister at a ceremony at the Jubilee House in Accra, where he congratulated them on their appointments and urged them to uphold the interests of the Ghanaian people. The president also asked them to effectively discharge their responsibilities to the Ghanaian people.
The ministers are Kobina Tahir, Minister for Trade and Industry, Mr. Brian Champon, Minister of Food and Agriculture, Stephen Asamoah Boateng, Minister for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adams, Minister of State at the Ministry of Finance. The others are Osei-Bonsu Amoah, Minister of State at the Ministry of Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, and Dr. Stephen Amoah, Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry. Addressing the newly sworn-in ministers, President Akufo-Addo said their appointment had come at a critical time in Ghana's history and they must dedicate themselves to the promotion of the general well-being of the people. He said though they had joined the last lap of the mandate of his administration, he was confident that there is enough time for them to make a difference and contribute significantly to the development of the nation. He then urged them to help ensure that the country got back to the years of high economic growth, which characterized the period before the outbreak of COVID-19 and the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The president also admonished the newly sworn-in ministers to remember at all times the solemn commitment of the new patriotic party to serve the Ghanaian people honestly and competently. He also urged them to declare their assets promptly and remain above reproach in their public dealings.
Now let's talk about tax. The Ghana Federation of Labour, GFL, has cautioned the governments to be mindful of overburdening the manufacturing sector with tax policies, as that may result in widespread unemployment, increased cost of living, and endanger national security. The GFL Secretary, Mr. Abraham Kumsin, in a statement said with the current financial crisis and taking into account the plight of workers, any additional tax burden would collapse the industrial sector.
Mr. Abraham Kumsin said a petition was submitted to the Speaker of Parliament on February 3, 2023, drawing his attention to the numerous taxes that already distressed companies were paying and the damage additional taxes would cause to the investment. He said organized labor considered it appropriate to draw Parliament's attention to the economic challenges the poor and vulnerable faced and the need to avert that, as well as any social upheavals in the country. The Association of Ghana Industries, Ghana Union of Traders Association, Food and Beverage Association of Ghana, and Importers and Exporters Association have expressed similar concerns about the tax imposed on businesses by the government. Parliament approved 3 new taxes last Friday, despite calls by several groups to reject the revenue policies. Government intends to generate about 4 billion cedis from the new taxes to take in more revenue and also secure a $3 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund. The bills passed are the Excise Duty Amendment Bill 2022, the Growth and Sustainability Levy Bill 2022, the Ghana Revenue Authority Bill 2022, and the Income Tax Amendments Bill 2022.
Still on tax policies, the minority in Parliament has refuted criticism that the caucus didn't try as much as possible to reject the 3 new tax bills passed on Friday. Member of Parliament for Ningo Pram Sam Nati George suggested that the clerks in Parliament have some questions to answer on how they went about Friday's head counts.
Sam George said there are 2 majority MPs who also walked in after the clerks had finished taking the vote from the majority side. The vote shouldn't have read 136, 137, but be that as it may, the Speaker only announces that what it is presented to him. He added that the clerks have a question to answer as to how they managed to get 137. The financial bill seeks to raise about 4 billion Ghana cedis annually as part of domestic revenue mobilization. The bills are also crucial to aid the government's quest to facilitate the board approval for the $3 billion International Monetary Fund program staff level agreement. The minority in Parliament earlier communicated its opposition to the bills, but the bills were passed despite an MP from the majority suffering a near-fatal accident on his way to the House. Parliament on Friday, March 31st, passed the Excise Duty Amendments Bill 2022, the Growth and Sustainability Levy Bill 2022, the Ghana Revenue Authority Bill 2022, and the Income Tax Amendments Bill 2022.
Away from that, the governing New Patriotic Party has warned its opposition counterpart, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, to be honest in its assessment of Ghana's economic situation. The NPP is of the view that, notwithstanding its excellent handling of the Ghanaian economy, the NDC has grown accustomed to concealing the government's economic gains using dishonest tactics, a practice it wants the NDC to put an end to.
The party announced in a statement signed by its General Secretary, Justin Kodua Frimpong, that nominations will be closed on Friday, 14th April 2023, while election will be held on Sunday, 23rd April 2023. The statement
The national chairman, Stephen Intim, in an address on Tuesday said the NDC's hunger for power cannot be satisfied by lies.
As a political party, the NDC has a sacred responsibility to be honest and upfront with Ghanaians in all things that they do. The NDC must desist from the habit and strategy of deceit in its quest for power. We know they can campaign to come to power, but the lies and deceit must be eschewed. Such methods are often short-term, from where I stand, but have long-term ramifications for democracy, public confidence, and not the least, the global perception and embrace of our dear country, Ghana.
The MPP adds that the NDC's ploy will not persuade the government to abandon its efforts to better its economic records. Stephen Intim therefore urged party members to assist in spreading the MPP's goodwill. Despite undertaking historic debt exchange program and seeking a bailout from the International Monetary Fund, the MPP has hailed the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration for diligently managing Ghana's economy. Stephen Intim echoed claims that the current crippling economic crisis is due to the impact of COVID-19 and the effects of the Russian-Ukraine war, and not the incompetence of the economic management team, as propagated by the opposition National Democratic Congress.
The plain truth is that this government has managed the economy diligently and well. The hardships we are experiencing in Ghana are being experienced everywhere because of the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russian-Ukraine war. Workers in some of the world's biggest economies are demanding increases in salaries due to historic global inflation. It is happening in the United Kingdom, France, and Germany. In the UK, I was told a couple of weeks ago that they had to ration vegetables and cooking oil.
Also in other stories, the governing New Patriotic Party has approved timeliness for the COMEBOL by-election in the Ashanti region. Hence, the party will open nominations from Tuesday, 11 April 2023.
The party announced in a statement signed by its General Secretary, Justin Kodua Frimpong, that nominations will be closed on Friday, 14th April 2023, while election will be held on Sunday, 23rd April 2023. The statement added that nomination forms would be available at the constituency party office for purchase. The COMEBOL by-election follows the death of the sitting Member of Parliament, Philip Atta Basua. He passed away Tuesday morning, 28th March 2023 at the Kwelebu Teaching Hospital.
Also, the trial of former Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Cocoa Board, Dr. Stephen Kwabena Opuni, and businessman Seydou Agongo will restart from scratch. The new judge assigned to preside over the case has ruled. In a ruling on April 4, 2023, Justice Kwesi Anochijima said it would be unfair for him to adopt a proceeding that was saddled with numerous allegations. The case was originally before retired Justice Clemens Jackson.
In March 2018, the Attorney General charged Dr. Opuni and Agongo with 27 counts for allegedly engaging in illegalities that caused financial loss of 271.3 million Ghana cedis to the state and led to the distribution of substandard fertilizer to cocoa farmers. Dr. Opuni is standing trial with Seydou Agongo, Chief Executive Officer of Agricult Ghana Limited, an agrochemical company. Dr. Opuni and Agongo have pleaded not guilty to the charges and are on self-recognizance bail in the sum of 300,000 Ghana cedis each. The new judge, Justice Kwesi Anochijima, said it will be unfair for the court to ignore the allegations and adopt the previous proceedings as it is. Justice Jima also pointed out that an accused person was by law required fairness and that presumption of innocence should not be overlooked by the court. He has ordered the parties to file their witness either before or on April 21st, 2023. The case has been adjourned to April 25th, 2023 for case management conference.
Also, the Ashanti Regional Minister, Simon Osei-Mensah, has justified his reason for reacting angrily to caterers under the government school feeding program in the Ashanti region when they presented a petition to him on Monday, April 3rd. The caterers who are calling on the government to pay them their arrears and also increase the amount expressed their disappointment with the regional minister over how he received them.
Speaking to the media, Mr. Simon Osei-Mensah insisted that caterers did not follow due process and were protesting at the Regional Coordinating Council, which compelled him to react the way he did.
Yesterday I was in a meeting when I heard some nice eyesight in my office. So I sent my special assistant to find out. She came back and informed me that caterers on school feeding were there demonstrating. So I came out and then asked them, one, have they ever come to me? And why are they demonstrating before they come to me with their issues? Two, they did not even go to the police to inform them that they were going to demonstrate. So when they entered, if the security at the Regional Coordinating Council had reacted and maybe attacked them, what would have been the results? I think this country, we must be truthful to ourselves. We must be truthful to ourselves and start pampering people. The impunity is too much. I sympathize with them. I would not be happy for the government to owe me for maybe months, when maybe I borrowed and interest is accruing, and maybe I cannot even feed my family. But we should not use illegality to solve problems. We should solve our problems through the legal means. In this country, if you want to demonstrate, you go and inform the police before you embark on demonstration. You don't just get out and start demonstrating. We are not in a lawless country. We are in a country being governed by law. That is why we say we are in a democratic dispensation. So you don't just take the law into your hand and start maybe acting the way you want. No, I don't tolerate those things. Oh, whether I'm angry or I'm not angry, I'm saying I don't tolerate illegality, period. And I will never tolerate illegality.
Following the incident, some caterers under the government school feeding program withdrew their services after school resumed on Tuesday, April 4. The caterers, who are also demanding an increment in the amount government pays per child daily from 97 pesos to 3 cedis, say the current amount is unsustainable because of the current state of the economy and its accompanying high cost of commodities.
2 cities are for the corner. 3 years no can. If I see 3 years no, am I 97 pesos have a payment? The last time I can no become anybody other and I say or become and confirm with say your Cheska. And 9 no, yes, your school fee. No, my we are so broad, but don't die a car. I can't queen. Yeah, whoa, the guy is on my. You know, I see what Raymond here. Nay, a chair, nay, a son, what a so, and nay, no school fee. I say, as you Tiaka, Yanu Munia and be as a sit down now, one fire, no, one mamma trace cannot see. You better think to your papa from what you.
Meanwhile, the Ghana School Feeding Secretariat has asked school feeding caterers to reconsider their decision to lay down their tools while government works to ensure the release of funds for the payments of their arrears.
In business, some water consumers are owing state water producer Ghana Water Company Limited some 800 million cedis in unpaid bills. The utility provider has therefore started going after those consumers to offset their bills or risk getting disconnected.
According to the Ghana Water Company Limited, as of January 2022, the debt was 684 million Ghana cedis. It rose to 800 million Ghana cedis after the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission (PURC) approved a 22% tariff hike for Ghana Water Company Limited, with 90% of the arrears owed by the private consumers and the government owning only 10%. Prior to the start of the disconnection exercise, the Ghana Water Company Limited claimed to have sent warning notices to its consumers. State Power Producer Electricity Company of Ghana (ECG) also began a similar exercise a few weeks ago.
Qatar Charity Ghana has commissioned a mosque with 800 capacity and washrooms at Breman Brakwa in the central region of Ghana on Friday, 31st of March 2023. Qatar Charity is one of the world's largest humanitarian and development organizations which offers life-saving aid to those affected by armed conflicts, persecution and natural disasters, as well as long-term solutions to poverty through sustainable development initiatives in social welfare, water and sanitation, education, nutrition and economic empowerment.
The commissioning was their first project for the community, and the country director for Qatar Charity Ghana, Mr. Hassan Oda, thanked everyone for their support.
That this is not the first and last project. This inshallah will be the first project, but we will continue to go with a borehole for providing water for vulnerable communities, and also we can see, and now we are going to assist the school here just beside the mosque, so we can assist whether if we need to build more classroom blocks, and in addition to the health center in the town. So we will see and we will assess to what extent we need to support this health center.
He promised to do more and help with the construction of some of the town's infrastructure needs. The chief of the town, Nana Yamua IV, advised the residents not to joke with their prayers and Allah. He also thanked the foundation for constructing the mosque for the community. Some residents of the town expressed their gratitude to the group and urged them to do more for them. They also jubilated when the mosque was finally commissioned in order to show appreciation.
Farko mun gode ma Allah jalla wala wanda muka yi yau Allah ya bari muka zo muka bude masalaci a guna Cedro Brakwa. To wannan muna odobin zuwa Nyekrom da sauransu. Yasa wannan gari ne ya zama ma abin ganga ma mai kamera kaman gari na ne nan ga ka haife mu. Yasa muna roƙon Allah wanda suka yi kokari har ya zo ya kai mu Saminu Ibrahim da sauransu da manyan da mannin da suka zama hidima cikin Allah ya saka musu.
Allah da aka zo aka yi mun wanga yanzu nan advice ne ke ba dan waye na arna na gan su zo su da kan sun zo sun gan kan da aka shirya nan abin ya musu kyau wala su da nayi iman kaman ba zuwa gaba kamin a kare azumi nayi dewa sun zo su yi tuba yasa Allah ubangiji ya jawo su ya kare kanmu mu samu wadata kullu ko na zamu shiga duka Allah ya sa musulunci ci gaba.
Meanwhile, Egypt has opened a record-breaking mosque in its new administrative capital city, but has been widely criticized for the cost involved. The government has been building a new city in the desert to try to move people from heavily congested Cairo, but the unveiling of the new center and mosque was criticized on social media.
It comes at a time when Egypt has been fighting soaring prices, with inflation running at just over 30% in March. The new administrative capital of Egypt has been purpose-built 45 kilometers east of Cairo. Its new Islamic Cultural Center also includes Egypt's Grand Mosque, which covers more than 19,000 square meters and is capable of hosting 107,000 worshippers. The mosque cost 800 million Egyptian pounds to build and is the second biggest mosque in the world. The media celebrated the mosque for breaking 3 Guinness World Records, including the largest pulpit in the world with a height of 16.6 meters, handcrafted from the finest types of wood, state media said. The opening event was attended by the president, but on social media, the only platform left for descendants of Egypt's president Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, there was severe criticism. Egypt is facing a deepening economic crisis, and although many countries are battling soaring inflation, Egypt is one of those suffering the most. The country has also been selling its state assets to Gulf investors to help plug the widening budget deficit. Many people went to Twitter and Facebook to criticize lavish spending on religious places at this critical time, as millions of Egyptians struggle every day to put food on their table. President el-Sisi, who has been in power following a military coup in 2013, thanked participants, workers, and singers at the event, which was also attended by the Prime Minister.
Away from Egypt, Sudanese leaders have again postponed the signing of a final agreement to re-establish a civilian government as differences within military factions intensify. Sudan has been in political crisis since October 2021, when the army overthrew a civilian government that ousted long-serving leader Omar al-Bashir in 2019.
Talks continued overnight with negotiations centered on the draft deal that was to be signed on Thursday. Sudan has been in political crisis since October 2021, when the army overthrew a civilian government that ousted long-serving leader Omar al-Bashir in 2019. Violent street protests followed. Hundreds of people were killed and many more injured over the last 1 year and a half. Last December, the military agreed on a roadmap to hand over power to civilians.
but the negotiations have stalled due to the disagreement over the unification of the National Army and the dreaded paramilitary Rapid Support Forces led by the deputy head of Sudan's ruling council, Mohamed Hamdan Daglo. The spokesman for the talks, however, said they were still determined to reach a consensus with the military. The factions hope that a final peace deal will unlock millions of dollars frozen by the European Union and the US and help the country's struggling economy.
And this is where we end our news update. For more stories, log on to BEINMultimedia.com. Many thanks for doing the watching. My name is Khadija Kubura Keilani. Have a good evening.